Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daas Torah, the Halachik process, an example from the Gemara. So previous to Shirim, we spoke about Daas Torah, Lisa Blach, and how the classic Halachik psak works, where there is a very clear discussion from the Gemara to Rishon and Shulchan Aruch Achronim, and the rabbi might challenge the psak of the tshuva, and then he'll defend himself, and there's a good, healthy back and forth process, just like every page of the Talmud. And Daas Torah could be a clear expression of that process. It's an area which is more than just a technical halacha. It could be a broader communal issue, or sometimes Daas Torah simply is a statement from a gadol or some gedolim that this is the Daas Torah. And we said that's fine for those people that follow, but to make it that that's the only position and there's no other position, that to me is unacceptable. And the classic example we gave was Rabbi Aaron Lichtenstein. He wrote an article explaining his position on why a Ben Torah could and should go to the army, and the fact that many other Gedolim argued and said, no, Ben Torah doesn't go, without writing a tshuva on it. That's that choice to write it down just to offer a psak, but certainly it shouldn't be dismissed. Rabbi Aaron, the one who writes the tshuva, shouldn't be the one who's dismissed. There's an argument. A group of rabbis gave a psak, issued, quote, a Daas Torah, and Rabbi Aaron gave a psak and explained himself and wrote a classic tshuva on the topic and debated, argue it out. But let's go to a Gemara, an example. Chav Zaynim Abed and Bracha. Rabbi Gamliel is the leader of Klal Yisrael. And he's tough. He's tough. Chas v'shalom, I'm not saying he was a mean person. I don't think anyone should say he's mean. Tough, firm. He had definite shittas about how to run the klal. And he held that he is the authority. It wasn't an arrogance. It wasn't an arrogant position. It has to be a clear authority that they can't have a free-for-all. And Rabbi Yeshua had some arguments with him, and he went ahead and put him on the spot, Rabbi Yeshua, made him stand publicly in front of Rabbi Gamliel, while Rabbi Gamliel gave Shir, a clear challenge to Rabbi Yeshua to make it clear. Rabbi Gamliel's the leader. Rabbi Yeshua is not. When he gives another psak about Marav, whatever it may be, no. Rabbi Gamliel is the posek. He was accepted the nasi of the Beit Din. There's no room for anyone else. He had a very clear position. And then what happened was the rabbis said, no, this is too harsh, this approach. This happened and other incidents happened. The Gemara lists a few incidents that happened over the years and said, no, this approach cannot continue. We need to go ahead and depose Rabbi Gamliel and have another approach. Should be Rabbi Yeshua. He was the argument. That would be pretty painful to have Rabbi Yeshua, who was the other side of the argument. He'd be the leader. That's painful for Rabbi Gamliel. We don't want to cause unnecessary pain. We're going to cause pain to Rabbi Gamliel, the fact that we're deposing him, but to add salt on the wound, no, we don't want to do that. So he comes from Elazar ben Azariah, the famous story that he didn't have white hair, and then overnight he grew the hair changed into white hair. And then he went ahead, had a very different approach. He said those guards at the Beis Medrash, who only allow in certain people who are Tocho Kaboro, on a very high level, inside and outside, that's the only ones who are going to let in. Well, no, we're going to take those guards away. Everyone could come in. And then hundreds and hundreds of people came in. The Gemara argues how many people came in. A discussion by a huge amount. And Rabbi Gamliel went ahead. He saw this and said, oh my gosh, maybe I made a mistake not allowing all these people in. And then God showed him in a dream. They weren't exactly the highest level people coming in. He felt better. The Gemara goes on to say something unbelievable, that actually God showed him in the dream that the people that came in weren't so great, but they really were. He just did it to console Rabbi Gamliel, which itself is incredible. He went ahead and showed him a lie to console him. You go ahead, says that's like an Avram Avinu, where God says that Sarah said, Avraham, Sarah's old. Didn't say that Avram's old. So is this a similar kind of idea that God, so to speak, lied in order to console him? Something to look into. But either way, what does that show? That Gamliel had a sheet. He wasn't evil, chas v'shalom, but the people argued, and God wanted to console them because he followed a sheet, and he shouldn't feel bad about that. But what happened? They opened the Beis Medrash, and Edyos is discussed on that day. All the Mishnayos, where clear psak was given on unanswered issues, they were all worked out on that day. And who was there? Rabban Gamliel. So here you have a very harif argument, how to run the community. Rabban Gamliel had a very tough and firm approach. Elazar ben Azariah had a different, much more open approach. That's a serious argument. That is not a question of what happens when you cut an onion with a meat knife. That's not a question of when can you daven mincha until. This is a communal issue. And they argued. The ramifications were huge. So Rav Gamliel's Daas Torah was what? That this is how it has to be run. And they argued and says, our Daas Torah is not that way. We argue, and we're deposing you. And yet what happened? Rabban Gamliel, Hashem consulted, which was unbelievable, because he had his position. But there were two Daas Torahs, and one rejected the other one. And they lived together. Rabban Gamliel stayed in the Beis Medrash, and he was there, the Gemara says, Chav Ches Samad Aleph. And to me, that's how we should relate to Daas Torah. What is the history of the Daas Torah? How does it come about? That's an interesting discussion. But whatever the history is, people use the term Daas Torah. So you want to use Daas Torah that this is his position on a mega halacha or hashkafa or communal issue. Fine. That's his position, or that's their position. But be open to see there may be another Daas Torah of another great gadol, another group of gedolim, and to me, a model Gemara here should be that Gemara in Brachos, where there was some very serious Daas Torah arguments, none of a technical halachic detail, as much of a communal issue. They argued it out, and one person won, so to speak, but they still worked together and respected each other. Shalom.